Welcome back. So today, I really want to continuing what we already started. It was about old relationship and how actually this some kind of a book helped me to get through this. I already shared on my one of my video or the last video I posted, which is really necessary for you to watch it before even watch or continue watching this. If you haven't seen it, I will put the link here or there. Anyway, it's all talking about how I actually start my relationship. Although I've been struggling with a big family, I already live in a big family, but we actually not actually so close to each other. So I grow up with no friend or no any person who I can share all my thought and all my feeling with him. So I already mentioned my stories, and I also start give you some points that I take it out from this book, which is a wonderful book. And don't worry, in this video, I will share with you the name, and also I will share with you some of the things I love it through that book. And we already mentioned that today we're going to continuing the 9, I think it's 8 now. Yeah, I said it's 8 points. So I don't want to waste your time anymore. So let's dive in. Number 1, which is actually the power of stop. And I see a lot of people actually they're struggling by this. Maybe for some of you guys will think that this is something easy and normal to learn. But I really see it in front of my eyes that there is so many people speaking so fast. They didn't even give themselves a chance to take a breath. They just is still keeping speaking so much faster, and they don't even let the other person to understand what exactly you're trying to explain. They didn't actually wait or give a moment for themselves, and that's a big problem. We say it. Actually, we do it during the conversation. All you need to do is you need to pause for a second or for a moment, give a space for the other person to help him to understand what exactly you're trying to say or what exactly you want him to get it to understand. So I think this is a small part. I think we need to actually make aware when we are having a conversation. And it's not only just for a conversation. Even though you are talking in a public, you need to give some moment to let the audience to understand exactly what you want to say, or what you actually want them to understand. Is the word fine just we say it to cover what we already feeling? It's actually a polite way we used to say it whenever we don't want to share our feeling, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. And I find out that one of the reasons that guide us is actually the people themselves who are the responsible for that. Some people, they give you answering that it doesn't allow you to speak more or to explain why. And let me give you an example. And through that example, I'm guarantee you that you will understand all what I'm talking about. So imagine that one person asks you or actually invite you in a party. And after the party, he asks you about this party, whether it's him or another person. And you want to give your answers. You will say like, the party was fine, but the dinner wasn't that good. The meat was undone, although the appetizers were so bad. With these simple answers, you think that you give your answers in honesty, but the other person, on the other hand, will take it as a negative thought. So he doesn't find any way or any things to say it after what you say it. Some people, they maybe make it as a joke, and even though they give you their answers. But I think most of people, they actually used to become silent in that situations. But anyway, in the other hand, when actually somebody asks you the same questions and now you want to say your response, the party is fine and the dinner was so delicious. The meat was undone, but at least it's better than the appetizers. With these simple answers, I guarantee you that the other person will take the positive emotional or the positive feeling toward what you say, and you allow him to ask you or actually to explain to you what's going on. With these simple answers, I will 100% sure that the other person will take it in a positive way. So anytime when you want to say any response or you want to start speaking, be careful when to use but. Probably don't say but and say a negative word. Say a positive sentences after the word but. With that simple technique, you will never find somebody who will tell you fine when it's not fine. Intervene the conversation, but don't interrupt. Whenever you are having a conversation or you want to get into a conversation, let the other person to finish what he already started saying. Don't interrupt him during the conversation. Let me tell you a funny story that I take it through the same book, which I was about to share it with you, who was about to share with you. Anyway, he said that there is a man who used to come to door to sell her vacuum. One day, there is a lady open the door for him. And before the lady speak, he start to like giving all the information about the value, what's the benefit, how good it is, all these things, stuff. So during the conversation, the lady said, but I don't, and then the man stopped him again. He doesn't let the lady to continuing what she want to explain. And he asked also the lady to get inside her house. And the lady allowed for this. After she get to her house, after the man get to the lady's house, he throws some dust in her rag. And he said, if the rag doesn't, if my vacuum doesn't clear all this, I'm gonna eat it. After that, he threw the dust in the rag. And before he started to clean it, the lady said, I don't have money. I was trying to tell you as soon as I see you, I don't have a money to buy your vacuum. I know how good it is, but I don't have a money. If I only have a money, I will probably I will probably pay my bill. So in that situations, the woman said, do you want me to bring for you spoon or frog to eat your desk? It's a really funny story, but also it has a power to let you to understand whatever you are having a conversation with somebody, let them to continuing what they are starting. Then you actually say whatever you want to explain or say whatever you want to say to them. Rule of three. It's really amazing. The science said that our brain, it's only allow for 2 or 3 information at the same times for our short memory. And you haven't go to the theatrical play, they always make it into 3 parts. And why is that? Because it's help you to understand and also to remember all the things that happened. And also it's a good also way to, if you want to persuade somebody, you give them 3 arrangement. I think it's going to be so much unpleasant, and also it keeps them to fully aware or also to understand what you are coming from. So next time, try to separate anything in 3 parts and you will see it, how it work with you. Are you a positive or a negative person? One day somebody asked Oprah about what the things that she wished to learn it in her early age. Do you know what she said? She said, I wish to know the difference between the positive and the negative. And she's right actually. Because when you start to actually comparing these 2 things or to know them very well, I think this is the moment I can say that you are growing. Even though you grow, nothing show up for other people or didn't show up for other people, because it's all start from you. Whenever you start to speak to yourself in a positive way, you will find everything in this world. It's so unique. It's so wonderful. It has a purpose. But if you start to think like a negative way, everything that close your eyes and it doesn't allow your all sense to feel it. And that's why you must to know whether you are a positive or a negative, and you have to change it, whatever it is, or to live your life in a better way. Ending a conversation. Maybe for you guys, this is something really easy, especially if you are with your friend, your family. It's so normal to ending a conversation. But what if you are in a position that you never been for, or even though with your manager, or even though with anybody? So for the first time, how you will end the conversation? The best way to end in the conversation after you speak, whatever you're trying to say to the other person, after you finish what you already say it, let them to know that you are about to leave or you want to excuse to leave them. It is the best way, and also it gives them a sense of not guilty, or even though you're not saying something wrong or negative for them. Because when you let them to finish their talk, then you will actually excuse to leave. They maybe think about different thoughts. They maybe, for example, think that what they say or wrong or actually connecting to you, so you don't want to speak. So if you really want to make it so simple and more enjoyable, you need to, you're the one who responsible for ending the conversation. So next time, make sure to end the conversation after you finish what you really want to say or tell to them. Stop using the word must. Don't always say, I must do this, I must do that. Even though when you are talking to our kids, stop saying this word, because it really gives you a feeling of anxious, a feeling of unpleasant, stressing out, all of that negative feeling. But if you probably use it or change the word to a positive word, like probably you should, maybe you would like to do this, all of that stuff, it's really gonna help you, even though to feel more positive and make you to feel motivation. Even though when you are trying to speak to yourself, start to speak with yourself in a positive way to help you grow. So it's really make us feel positive and also emotional at the same time. Are you introverted person, or are you someone who has find joy or find happiness in simplicity? And I'm not talking about the good and the bad. We only want to know ourselves, because the more we know ourselves, the more we're going to grow and be better. For introverted person, they used to spend, or they used to actually recharge themselves when they are spending a long time with themselves. Even though they are in a public place, they used to sit with themselves to recharge, because they more focusing or thinking about their idea and their feeling. But on the other hand, for simplicity, it's so much different. They used to recharge themselves through among of people. The more they engage with people, the more they recharge their energy. And also, they only focusing about connection with people. And none of them is about good or bad. They all have a unique feeling and unique emotion. Just you remember, or just you have to make sure to know yourself, whether you are introverted person or a simplicity person, because this one is really going to help you to see yourself more, or to know how to engage yourself, or even though to spend more time. And it really make it so easier for you to grow. The last point, which is actually tell me story. Actually, we love story. Do you know that we as a human being are actually remembering the story more than remembering the information? Yeah, because we actually connecting to the natural, and all this world actually creating by story. That's why we keep the story more than the information in our brain. And sometimes even something happened to you from a child, if it's tell you, or actually somebody tell you story from your childhood, you're never gonna forget it. And why is that? Not because your brain is so strong at that point. No, it's actually because we are connection to our natural, although all the world create with the story. So it's more easier for you to remember all the story. That's why it's a good way, if you want to say or share information or important information, to use it in a simple story, or even though in a funny story, to let the audience to remember it. Although if you are speaking in a public or in among of people and you don't want them to miss the information, it's so easy for you to start to share your information by saying simple story to explain, and then I guarantee you they will never forget it, and it's kept for their mind for a long period of time. So next time, make sure to say your speech in more interesting story, or find a way to keep this information for the other persons. And it's actually a better way to remember, and also to bring it to your mind when you need it. So now, guys, after we cover all the points, it's time for me to show you the book that it spent for me about 2 weeks to read it. And I think I said the most of this book. And if there is something you interesting you inside the book, let me know in the comment. And yeah, here's the book that spent for me about 2 weeks of reading. And it's actually about talk ability, and it's written by James Burge. And I love that book actually because it really helped me to find myself and also to start grow and explore myself more. So I can't wait to see you in one of my new book with new grow and developing ourselves. Bye for now.